it's almost like it takes Seamless, Cognism, Zoom Info, puts them all together, and then you get a hot mix of UpLead. So I think that the unique selling points of UpLead are there, and I think it definitely can compete.
I'm going to go straight into my verdict, and I'm going to say UpLead for me. If I'm a young startup, and if I've got a tight budget, and if I'm running a lean machine, BTW, recession is OTW. But yeah, if I'm running a lean machine, then my verdict is.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another installment of Sales Moguls. We love the fan mail. We love the questions. We really love the questions we've been getting in. We got a really exciting question from New Zealand that you're going to hear later on in the show as well.
Can't wait.
But we did hear some different, concept types we need to do. So stay tuned to the end of the episode and you'll find out what other types of videos. It's not just going to be reviews we're going to be going through as well. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, so I'll be honest here. It's unfair for me to comment on the sales process for UpLead, and that's why you'll not see a score next to it from me, because getting started as far as the sales process is concerned with this platform did not include me speaking to a person. It was completely self-driven. I self-signed up. I got started with the trial. I got set up completely on my own. So I think it makes a lot of sense for you to speak about the sales process from your side and how it was for you.
Yeah, I mean, the sales process, I give him a 9 out of 10. Shout out to Jeff. He was very attentive, asked a lot of great questions. I mean, when I had the meeting with him, because I was so, I guess, well informed in the way I gave him laid out exactly what I was looking for, because we're still trying to solve this problem at my company, which none of the tools have been able to solve yet. He immediately just asked, what are you really looking for? Then you seem like you know what you're looking for. So I like the fact he was attentive. He listened to what I was asking for. And he's very solution orientated in the way he gave out answers to my questions. So I gave him a 9 out of 10.
I've got a question here. When you spoke to UpLead, and generally when you speak to companies, how differently do they react based on the size of your potential purchase?
Well, it's actually an interesting question. I mean, I don't have a big sales team. There's maybe 3, let's say 5, let's say users. However, it seems like I'm getting a lot better deals than you. And I think it comes down to you can be up to 50 seats you have. I'm up to 5 seats. And I think the main reason is because when you go deep dive into this whole industry and you know exactly what you're looking for, you kind of know how to answer their questions. And a big thing came up one time where, one of the sales reps kind of used one of their salesy answers where they went, if you went through these 200 businesses here, and because I know these sales tools and I know that what he's talking about has not related to actually what I need or my ICP, it was quite easy for me to say, no, but that's not what I require. And I think a lot of people, can be kind of with the smoke screens, get kind of lulled into all these different features and believe during the process that they're getting a lot more value for what they actually need. So I think from the fact that I'm able to distinguish what my company needs, I'm able to give them, our ICP, but also make their job easier by outlining exactly what I need. And then obviously, because I'm talking to all these different companies, they all have, I believe, internally, the win-loss record to different companies. So I'm sure from their perspective as well, they're looking at how many losses do I have to Cognism, to Zoom Info, to UpLead. So I think before you go into these processes, always make sure you do your due diligence.
What I've noticed is that typically based on the size of your business, you get assigned to a mid-market or small and medium business enterprise kind of account executive or an enterprise level account executive. And I think generally speaking, given I've worked for both sort of companies, small companies and large enterprise companies, generally the sales reps that manage SMBs or manage mid-market companies are generally nicer and the enterprise guy is generally more cutthroat. So if you look at likability, a likability scale or like a likability ratio, you always have the guys who are in the big deals more sort of cutthroat, to the points. I'm not going to name names, but we had someone who was an account enterprise executive from Lucia who was really sort of cutthroat and straight to the point, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think,
that's
no, I think that's really, I think let's deep dive a little bit into that, because I think you bring up a really good point. Because let's take the SMB. Obviously, you get different kind of account executives, and that's a given. And you obviously get the people who need to close the deals. So when you're dealing with a 4 to 5 seats, sorry, excuse me, it's a lot easier to give someone a discount than someone who's 50 seats, because you know the work and effort that's going to go in. So obviously, when you're dealing with a smaller company, you can offer bigger discounts. And obviously, the person who's dealing with those customers is on a different skill level as well, because a lot of what's based on that is going to be based on obviously the relationship that's really important for them. And then through that sales process, it's going to be really important that the person is probably or more likely to have you compete with other sales tools than when you're in an enterprise. Because when you're in an enterprise, it's a different procurement process. You go through different rounds, right? So the more rounds you deep dive into, the more you get to a section where there's no one less to compete with. Whereas if you're a smaller company, it's very simple to look at 10 at the same time.
I didn't really interact with the salesperson. All I had to do was get set up on my own. And I really like the fact with UpLead, this is something that not many platforms do. They give me a free trial for an entire week. I want to talk more about the engagement that UpLead does with me as a prospect, and this is without them getting the data point that I potentially could buy 50 seats here. Just their engagement through that trial week was phenomenal, and I want to get into that more later on in the show. But getting started, I'll give them a strong 9 out of 10, because on the website, super easy. It was literally a 2-minute job getting started, and as soon as I entered the homepage, which I'll talk about more when we get to UX, I saw like a 15-minute tutorial video. And that was amazing, because if I really wanted to deep dive and study, if I had the patience, I had the time, of which I had none, unfortunately, I could have watched the video. I could have had a look, and that would have been great for me getting started. So strong 9 out of 10 there.
Yeah, I agree. I think getting started for me is very simple. I like the video at the start. It gets you straight into everything. The only thing, so I give it a 9 out of 10. The reason why I don't give it out 10 out of 10, and I think I might mention this later on, is that if you add people from your team, they have to use their credit card just to get set up. And that's the one qualm that I have against the whole setup, is that if you want to enable people from your team to utilize the platform during the trial, they need to credit card details. And that's
the hack there is get everyone to start up on their own and start an individual plan.
So I'm going to jump in straight away. The data accuracy and data coverage it just wasn't up to scratch. I mean, I gave it a 7 out of 10, but it could have been a 6. It could have been a 5. It really just didn't cover the European market as well as, your Zoom infos or your Cognisms, and the spread just wasn't there. What did you find, Abby?
Strangely, not wildly different in terms of rating, but definitely higher, because I don't know if it was coincidence or not. I think I mined about 20 leads. I get only 50 leads in my trial, by the way. So there were only so many leads I could mine or scroll through. I did about 20 of them, and I think about 15 of them were accurate. So how much is that? That's about a good 75%, isn't it? So it was accurate for me. And so since 7.5 is not a score, I've rounded up and being generous to them, and I've given them an 8. Let me start off with my consumer journey when I log in. When I log in, especially for the first time ever, I'm given these prompts, which is becoming quite the norm these days, which is gives me prompts based on, okay, you can find your profiles here. Then you can save them to lists here. And if you want to look at reports, there's a prompt that says down here, you can click on reports. So I like that. Definitely got points for that. I just generally like the feel of it. I like the colors and the feel of it, which also gave me plus points. I mean, and to be frank, there are not too many points that were minus points. Nothing really went against them when I used the platform, and it was easy to navigate. And that's why I give them a strong 8 out of 10.
I agree with you 100%. The colors, the design, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think this is the highest I've ever given for the UX. It's so, I even love the wording. I mean, we're going to go through the demo, but the wording they use is just very applicable to the way I describe things in the sales process, in the way I find leads. It's very different to all the other platforms. So I think that's something they've probably spent a lot of time on. And it's, for me, it's just been nothing but a joy to actually go through, because normally I think they're all too much information, but you know, UpLead is my number one for this one. I think for me, there's a few unique selling points. And number one, you can unlock the most common email pattern. I like that. So it's not like other sales tools where they might have 4 different email types. It actually gathers them all together out of, let's say, the 80 different contacts. And it says, this is the most common one. This is the one that we suggest you use if the others don't work. Number two is the verification of emails, which means you can. So what that actually means is when you download a list of emails into your CSV, it will automatically verify those emails for you. And if those emails, so live, and if those emails don't match, it doesn't take a credit from you. So I like the fact that it distinguishes between that. Number three, the news and events. So other companies have this, but the design of it is really, really good. It's not, you know, Zoom Info, I think it's way too much information there, or unnecessary information, where they're quite critical, and the way it's laid out is very simple to understand and to digest. And then obviously their fourth one, extremely UX friendly, the best in the business, so easy to use. I mean, it's almost like it takes Seamless, Cognism, Zoom Info, puts them all together, and then you get a hot mix of UpLead. So I think that the unique selling points of UpLead are there, and I think it definitely can compete.
For me, the USPs were, and I can speak as a trial user because that's when I got to actually explore the platform, right? For me, the USPs were the pieces of communication that I received during the trial. They really enabled me to get the best out of their platform. So I would give them a good ranking or a good rating on their communications, and just their knowledge base. You also have the section, just like the news section, you also have a section called ebooks, when you have where they've basically been giving you access to cold calling books or cold calling articles. That's quite useful for me if I'm a new sales rep, or if I'm a first time sales rep. So I find that to be quite unique. None of the other platforms have it. And from a platform point of view, I think they've got this feature where you can look for company using company domain names. So I can type in facebook.com, and I know some platforms have it, but many platforms don't. So I can type in facebook.com and I can get everyone who works at Facebook through UpLead. So I find that to be a unique selling point. So overall, I think they have some unique features out there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're mind-blowing, but they're nuanced, they're small, but they're really impactful. All right, let's get into the demo, guys. So here we are. This is the home screen of UpLead. As you can see, as we've said in our previous sections, the UX is super easy and it's a super clean format. So nothing too confusing or nothing too crazy happening when you open the platform up. But it's got a left bar which has contact search, some obvious ones like company search, creating lists, lookup, and then you have some sort of extra features that some of the other tools don't have, like news. So if you want to look at news in your industry, or like generally the sales industry, then you have events. If you want to register for events, as we know, events are sort of back, in-person stuff is back across the world, really. And resources, which is my personal favorite. So let's get into it quickly. Any sort of big things you want to draw people's attention to, David, at this stage?
Let's do like just a search of a company. DHL.
Yeah, let's do a company search. Keep it quite simple. Let's do retail. I'm just going to pick a couple of random industries. So you have some industries here. What I do, yes, this is generally my general observation, is that tech is not an industry. Why is that? Why is that companies don't have technology?
Yeah, technology doesn't come up as like a whole entire industry. I think they get stuck in to different ones all the time.
And these industries, I feel like these names, bless you, have not changed in years. It's been the same
Yeah,
for like 20 years now.
I know, and they always get pushed into different industries. If you're a tech company for finance, then you get put in finance.
Anyway, I'm gonna say it's our favorite market.
Not like Seamless, where you had United States and the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one. So I'm just gonna say country done. Revenue, I know this is your personal favorite. Say over 50 million.
Yeah, to 9
Um,
billion.
companies, let's say over 500. I can select by type, public, private, blah, blah, blah. By fortune ranking, interesting. Technologies currently using, so if they're using, say, I don't know, LinkedIn or using some kind of other platforms, any other platforms, funding if it's a startup, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And then you can say save search criteria. I can even say it is, or I can say researching companies. I can say hit save. So yeah,
Yeah.
you have all of these companies showing up. Click on a
Mm.
company.
Common email pattern, which is what I love at the top left.
So it's first name dot last name at company domain.
.nl. Love it. Really good.
Yeah, that's great. I love that feature.
Netherlands, right?
Yeah, Dutch company. So you've
Yep.
got all of these contacts. I guess you can bulk select and bulk
Mm.
add them to a list if you want to add them to a list. I'm going to go through these steps really quickly. You can bulk add them to a list. You can download all of them either into an Excel. So I'm just going to say Excel, 15 of these leads into an Excel sheet. Of course, I'm on a
Yep.
trial, so I won't be allowed to do that, but I could do that. If I want to download a single contact, I can just hit that download button and I can export it. If I have my CRM integration in place, then I can send it straight to my CRM. So they have all these integrations in place. And if you've got any of these platforms you can integrate to, then awesome. You can just click on Connect CRM. It's a
Yeah.
little complicated if you've got an enterprise CRM that may not be on this list, but if you've got a straightforward, a simple paid plan in any of these platforms, then it's quite simple to
Yeah.
do. So you have
The,
events here. Let's touch on this quickly. This is basically events that are happening across the world, really. You have things, as I can see here, I've got some in the US, I've got some in Europe. I can register using these links. And I think it's quite cool. Like if you're in the area and if you want to attend some stuff, then this can be something that can be quite nifty, quite handy. My favorite section, here it is. So you've got all these like this knowledge base that they've built up here. And if I want to download any of these ebooks, it's quite easy, and I think it's a free resource. So all I did there was just click on that handbook, and it opens up this PDF that I can, of course, read. It's quite detailed, which is great. I love that.
this is something that's really good for someone who, let's say you're growing a team and you're like, okay, how can I get good at cold emails? How can I always iterate myself? And I always say in this industry is there's always experts. There's always people who have been doing it for years and years, but it's one of those things that once you're out of the game for 6 months, very difficult to come back in and be fresh and have the right ideas. So this is a really good way for you to slowly get yourself back into the game if you're someone who's been out of it for a while or someone who's quite new as well. So I really like these books. They really sharpen your tools and what is it they say? Bronze strengthens bronze.
Awesome.
No, they don't
That's
say that.
They don't say that, but no worries. That's fine. Let's get into the next section.
So they're very open about their prices. I think it's very decent for what they offer. It's always based on how many seats you have, and then always based on how many unlocking. I wouldn't say always, my apologies. This business model is based on obviously the seats. That's always. However, it's also based on how many credits you unlock. They give you, I believe it's, actually, I'm not going to go through into the details. You guys can reach out to us if you want to find out more about the pricing. However, I give it an 8 out of 10. Quite solid, not showing off too much with the price, but not lagging behind as well.
I would give them a 7 out of 10 for pricing, but the fact that their pricing is transparent and on the website and clearly spelled out, I would give them that extra point. This is my
I,
problem with a lot of the platforms. Sorry, I'm getting a bit passionate here, but I I
what
hate
about
that some
sales tools?
platforms out there don't have pricing. We're in 2022. It's all about being transparent, and I love the
Mm,
fact that UpLead has they have 3 tiers. They have essentials, they have plus and professional. Based on the type of usage and based on the number of users, you get a pricing
mm,
tier. And they
mm.
have the free trial, which obviously we love because it's super easy to get set up.
Mm.
Now, as far as pricing is concerned, I love the fact that it's A-tiered, B, transparent, and
Mm.
C, very affordable. If you look
Yeah,
at the if you drill down the maths and if you look at the professional level, which is the highest tier, you're looking
yeah,
at about $60 per user per month for 1,000 credits, which for me is a double thumbs up. So it's a great job. Look, again, I like to compare to competition based on like 3 pillars. One is
yeah,
product, second is data accuracy, third being price. One product, I give it a strong ranking against competition.
yeah,
I'm thinking likes of Cognizant and ZooInfo. This is really up there. In terms of pricing, love the fact that it's transparent. Love the fact that it's not expensive. So again, it's strong there. And in
yeah,
terms of data accuracy, I had a pleasant experience. As I said earlier, I have about 75% data accuracy whilst using this platform. And
yeah.
that's why my comparison to competition for UpLead, I would give it a strong 8 out of 10.
Nice, nice. I actually give it an 8 out of 10 as well. UX is on point and the best I've ever seen. The common email pattern, I love it. I love it because I look for that all the time. I mean, it's quite frustrating with the other tools when you get a few email addresses wrong and you're trying to find the one that works. I love that they have that.
That's
The
a big
events
one.
and e-library, obviously, that's a given. I really do like it. The only problem is the limitations in the trial, which is really frustrating, really grinds my gears. And why I say that is you can't actually click to the second page. I don't know if you noticed that,
No, I
but
did not.
your first page of everything, you can't go to the second page. So if there's 90 contact points, you only get the first 40.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a little bit frustrating with comparison to competition, but I give it an 8 out of 10. I think they hold their own. Obviously, the biggest gripe is the coverage. Sort out the coverage. Sort it out in Europe. Okay? The cost per lead for me is a 6 out of 10. Main reason is the coverage is just not there. It's not enough coverage and not enough data accuracy for me to give it a high rating because you're not going to get your bang for buck for each time you unlock a lead. What about you, Abby?
So I'm going to go off based on what I see on their website and the pricing on the website. I'm going to just arrive at a cost per lead at a very high level and not at the kind of granular level that you've just described. Based on what I see on the website, it's $60 per user for 1,000 credits, which is basically $0.06 per lead, which makes it quite cheap. But again, you made a great point about not being able to find as many leads, right? And if it's always like a tightrope walk when you've got cheap pricing but not strong data coverage.
Yeah.
Those two need to sort of add up. Having said that, the pricing on the website looks really incredible, and the pricing looks really affordable, which brings down the cost of leads. So I would give it a 7. Yeah. So look, for me, in conclusion, for me, first impressions really count. And the fact that I was able to get set up without speaking to humans, first impressions really count for me. And B, I don't like humans. So I love those two. Give it a lot of high points initially. Data that I found was relevant and easy to find. So my verdict, my conclusion is it checks most of the boxes, as you can see in my ratings. And I'm going to go straight into my verdict. And I'm going to say, UpLead for me, if I'm a young startup and if I've got a tight budget and if I'm running a lean machine, BTW, recession is OTW. But yeah, if I'm running a lean machine, if I have $60 per user per sales rep as a budget for sales tooling, then my verdict is yes, I'm going to buy UpLead.
Yep, Abby, shots fired there. Very interesting that you give it a thumbs up buy. for me, the UX design makes everything easy to understand. So when I first looked at this, like you said, first impressions are really good. I had a buy. I loved it at the time. So in terms of the feature battle, it's in the mix with all of them. However, in terms of ease of use, it's number one. I mean, the feature battle, you know, it collates a list of data points from the filter systems. You're able to do pretty much the core basics of every other sales tool. So it enriches your leads. You're finding out LinkedIn's. I love the email comment pattern feature. That's really amazing. And then obviously the UX UI design is, you know, 10 years ahead of anyone else. What changed my mind over the course of utilizing it was the coverage. It's not there. It's just not good enough. And because the trial doesn't enable you to unlock, you know, the next page and actually get the most value from it, I can't actually know if the coverage or if the accuracy is 100% there as well, because I wasn't able to even get to my, you know, leads that I was looking for, or customer type that I was looking for, or I should say, I wasn't able to get to my contact type within that organization because I wasn't able to filter through the organization because of the limitations in the trial. And then on top of that, the coverage in Europe is just, it's not good enough. It's not up to scratch. It's just not up to scratch. It's cheap, yes, but there's other tools out there that give you more coverage that I would say they give you more bang for buck with it. So it's a don't buy from me. And
there you have it. It's that perfect combination, like the yin and the yang. We have a yes and a no. And I love it when that happened, which means that the jury is out on this tool. So leave your opinion of UpLead if you've used it in the comment section, or go sign up for a free UpLead trial and give it a go yourself and let us know what you think. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. We put in a lot of work, and thanks a lot as always for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'd love the support. We love the acknowledgement. And if you want us to put up more videos or different tools that you think you might find useful or you can benefit from, send them over to us. Send us an email. Put your comments in the comment section, and let us know what we can do next and help us improve. Thanks again for watching, and see you again at Sales Moghuls.